Hi, Julie.
Hi.
It's a pleasure having you here. I really appreciate you,
Thank you.
Coming out, and such an essential subject and profession that you have
Thank
to
you.
what we're trying to build here.
Thank you.
So
super excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I have to say, given the beautiful things that happen in Power Up Studio, I'm very interested to know like why you're starting your podcast, right? Why were you called to?
So we're starting today to launch a life work balance.
Okay.
Not only as moms and all the different hats that we wear throughout our days and throughout our lives, but
Okay.
Pretty much at a raw human level.
Got it.
Because all of us, through our profession and our choices in life,
Yeah.
we are testimony of decisions that we've had to make. And then at the end of the day, I think the longer lasting ones are the ones that we've made with our heart and with our gut.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And sometimes the heart hurts a lot. And sometimes it's joy. And in today's world where everything is just getting a little bit sort of numbed out by this digital world, I wanted to create a space where we can share our experiences through a human eye. So welcome and
thank you.
Pleasure to have a spiritual psychology coach with me.
Yes.
It's not nothing.
No. I'm definitely I more than the intention of your podcast. I think that not only as my career, let's say, more than a spiritual psychologist and a mindset coach, it's how I live. Like it's going through those things that you go through life and breakthrough moments that I've had in my life in many places that I so agree with you. It's like, it's your gut, it's your heart, the one that actually makes the choice. And then I think that's why I became a mindset coach, because all of a sudden my gut and my heart were leading me to decisions that were not logical, right? So, and it was like, but hold on, I've been relying on my mind my whole life, like life, family, culture, parents, whatever you want to call it, right? They shape you to trust it, to know more. And if there's something that I talk to a lot of people all the time, is that it's not about knowing more. It's about like doing. But then when you do, you finally realize that like, where is your heart at? What is it that I've told myself? So I resonate with your podcast a lot, like with all that kind of stuff. So thank you for making this space, I would say.
A pleasure. And I love that you say about the process, because and the logical mind, it's happened to me so many times that you go through all the emotions and you say, well, if I do this and this and that, and like, the house, the car, the grade, the PhD, then you get there and you're like, oh, wait, this was the road to happiness, and I'm here and
I'm supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to be happy now that I did the PhD and I was the thing and I did the stuff. And then all of a sudden you get there and you're like, hold on, this is not what we were promised, I would say.
Totally. Where does that start? Where would you find a beginning? A beginning
to listening to your gut, you would say?
Well, or maybe a beginning to forgetting to listen to your gut.
Yeah, okay,
is there
I get
a certain age?
I don't think there's an age. I think that everybody, in my experience, I would say that something either in the story of your life of people, and I'm thinking of like friends, people that I meet, like my clients. I think there's a moment in your life where something really uncomfortable happens, right? Like you just kind of hit a wall with reality, where a very uncomfortable situation is like, well, hold on. Like this, what I thought was going to get me what I wanted is not anymore. So I think there's usually a moment in people's life where there is like a meeting reality. And I think that happens not only once, it happens many times. There's just tends to be some that you decide to pay attention. You know what I mean? I think there's some that may happen and you were like not ready to look at it. But I think that's what is interesting, because the more I know people, the more you see so many different stories about those moments. You know what I mean? Like, I think everybody has a moment, and I had many different moments since I was born, you know?
Like a birth.
Yeah, like birth, and like, you know, if you think about genetics or epigenetics, like things that your family has lived, you know, and then you kind of realize. But me specifically, I think I can tell you maybe like one moment in my adult life where things switch, and I think there's like two different ones. But if I really look at it, like you were saying, like, is there an age? I think it's been since like I was born that I've had so many stories, you know? But I mean, there's two. Specifically, there's two of them. There's one that I remember being angry at God. Angry. Like, that's just the way that I say it. I was angry at God. I was exhausted. I didn't like my job. I was supposedly going towards the career that I wanted. And I ended up randomly, I haven't been in church in a while. I ended up going to church that day for a day where there was like a day retreat with somebody that I have dear in my heart, and they're still very active in the Catholic Church. So I ended up going to Mass, and had years without going to Mass. And in the Mass, I remember kneeling down, and I was like, you know what, God? This is the prayer that I did in my head. This is me, like, on my knees. Dude. Like, that's how it was. It was like, dude, do something with my life. Like, change it up. Like, I am pissed. I am tired. I am done. Like, you say that you're this almighty God, like, you're all over the place. Like, then do something with my life. I'm tired. I'm not recognizing myself. I am at that moment I was the biggest I was, like, weight wise. I the only free time that I have, it's only with like doing stuff for other people. Like, I don't have like time for myself. Like, it was just like not great. That same night, I ended up having a life-changing conversation with my brothers, which I've never had a conversation that profound with them. And the day after, I met someone that had gone through like surgery to lose weight, who like was like, hey, this is my story. And the day after that, so day 1 to day 3, I got an email on my inbox at work. And the work that I used to do before, I would travel a lot. And they're like, hey, Juli, we met in New York briefly. I've heard so many great things about you. Because that person and I, we met, but we never worked together. And the email was like, I've heard so many great things about your work. I am now the director in LA Convention Center, and I'm looking for a senior manager. What do you think of LA?
Without you even applying, or without you even like having this on the radar?
Zero.
Wow.
Zero.
Was this a social media area? Or like,
No.
Did you have your resume posted anywhere? Did you have a LinkedIn? Or
nothing.
How?
Nothing. LinkedIn wasn't a thing. We just were part of the same company. So this person, like basically she went around the company because she would travel too and be like, hey, I'm going to this new position in LA. She came from New York. I was in Florida. She's like, I have this. Who do you think will be a great senior manager? They're like, by the way, have you met Juli? And 3 different people talked to her about me from 3 different places of the country that I have worked before.
Wow.
So she just straight up sent me an email. And she just said that, what do you think of LA? And I was like, swear to God, what I did, I looked up and I was like, I need to get angry at you now.
It worked.
It was like, what? And I grabbed the phone, talked to her on the phone, just like, hey, this is how it works. This is what they're going to offer you. This is how much money they can offer you. This is the relocation package. I need you by this time and this time. What do you think? And I was like, what? Like, is this really happening? Like, and now she's like, the only bad news is I need you to make a decision within 2 weeks. Like, I can't wait too long because I need to secure that it's you. If not, I need to start interviewing people. I can hold up as much as 2 weeks.
Why were you waiting for 2 weeks? Like,
No. She's like, because I wasn't applying to anywhere.
No, yeah.
You know, like it wasn't not that, but of
It
course.
was a definite yes, right?
Of
Did you go?
course. So that day that I had a phone call with her, I remember sitting at my niece's room. She was newborn and she was out of the bed. So I remember in her crib, like pink rug and everything. I will never forget. And I was like, did this just happen? I had only told my sister-in-law about it. She's like, hey, I need to take this phone call because they sent me this email this morning and I'm talking to this person about this position in LA. And she's like, yeah, go, take it.
Oh my.
I come down the stairs. My whole family is there. And my sister-in-law goes, so what? That means you're leaving to LA? And I was like, dude, like what? And then my mom, my dad, my brothers were like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, and then I tell them the whole story. And then my mom goes, well, LA is kind of far, but you've been wanting to leave Florida for a while. And I was like, yeah. And then my dad was like, if you don't try, you'll never know. And I'm like, okay. And I literally called her back the next day. I was like, hey, I'm in.
So you slept on it? Like I consulted with a pillow, sort of?
I mean, it was, okay. I understand. Mm-hmm. At that moment, I wasn't so aware.
Okay.
That I need some things, I need just a moment.
Exacto. Yes.
Y yo creo que we need to honor that within ourselves.
That's such a disciplined practice.
I think more than discipline is just like you need to be aware, which I think is the hardest part of knowing yourself.
Taking a moment.
It's taking a moment of like, there's a quote by Viktor Frankl that I love. And he says, between stimulus and response, there's a space. And I think that space is what I'm talking about when it's like, can I get back to you on that?
I get it.
You know what I mean?
Owning your space.
Exactly.
Owning your...
Or just making space. Because sometimes we react immediately because, I don't know, somebody bumps your shoulder. You're like, ow, you know, it hurts. You react right away. But I think in that moment, I think now I know that I don't have to agree immediately because society,
you may lose the opportunity or fear. Oh yes, there you go.
Or you have to be decision. Liked, or I'm afraid that they're gonna reject me.
Yes,
you know, or God knows how many fears we have inside ourselves.
Big one.
Exactly,
especially these days.
Especially as a woman, you know, that it's like,
yes,
I need to be liked. You know, so. I mean, that's one story that is very powerful for me that switched my whole life. That's the reason why I'm a coach now, because I ended up going to LA. I ended up burning out. I quit. I lost 100 pounds. Like, it was humongous thing that I ended up in a world of personal development that ended up being a coach because of that. So, and that's how I ended up being a spiritual psychologist. I did a graduate program at the University of Santa Monica where I was like, this feels familiar. I know what they're talking about, but I don't know. Mm-hmm. I know. Right? So about those decisions that you were saying at the beginning.
And was that a thing back then, the spiritual psychology?
No.
Or is that a field that was just in the
No. Or even coaching.
Gearing off the traditional professions so much right now.
No, exactly. And I think what Los Angeles gave me was this world of personal development that wasn't readily available to me in Florida at the time, in South Florida specifically. So when I got to LA and I go through my burnout, I leave my industry and I start, you know, bumping shoulders with these people who were Tony Robbins's professors, you know, like the real people in the 70s that started personal development were next to me. They were my acupuncturist. They were like my what is it? What do you need right now? You need somebody to do like physical therapy to you. You know, like the physical therapist that I was seeing was part of the school. Like it just ended up being like the same kind of people, right? And I was like, oh wow. And that led me to go into it and understand it and all that. But no, it wasn't a thing in my immediate environment here in South Florida. So I think I had to leave in order to see that. So you had a
feeling that it was there, but it wasn't quite
the same
there for you to go towards it. Sort of like it, you just stayed around it as it was growing.
Exactly. And then when I started, before I started spiritual psychology, I went to just like a personal development seminar.
Okay.
And in that seminar, I met who became my coach and my mentor. And she right away was able, the importance of good mentorship is someone who sees you before you see yourself. Right? Like,
Absolutely.
She was like, you're really good at this coaching thing. And I was like, for me, coaching was like, I don't know, like something you do at church. Like you help people for free kind of thing, right? Like counselor in high school or something like that.
Yes,
Like it wasn't something that was, I didn't know people will make like such a living. I thought Tony Robbins was on stages and that's
It's
it.
just that what we were sold back in the day, I think our generation, is that in order to be recognized, you had to have an important title, you had to have a status. And, a lot of the professions that I think help us forge our neural connections and just who we are as humans are so underpaid, so underrecognized,
So true.
underrated. So even, volunteering at school, being a mom, being a woman, just stay at home woman without a little paycheck for the position.
Exactly.
Right? It's I think to these days it's still controversial, if you can say a little bit, or
I think it's underappreciated, I would say, is the word. 100% underpaid.
So important. You gotta think that these are the human beings that are walking around these days.
Yep.
And that they actually might have a position of power in your company. They might be your boss. And they were raised by a phone.
Yeah. Well,
or
more than that, I would say also I think nowadays there's also the coming forward to really understanding your emotions and your feelings, because we didn't have an emotions and feelings school. Like as Latinas, like our emotions and feelings school was a novela.
Oh yeah.
And what does that mean? That means that any rejections or breakup is heartbreaking, and I'm dying.
And it's the woman is always crying,
and she's always dying, like of anguish. And it's like, not good job that you got rid of that MFer,
Yeah. No, and then they switch up the novela on you before you even know it. So right now it's like it's cool to be the martyr of the novela, and then tomorrow it's cool to be the villain. So how do you decide your martyr, victim? Claro,
true,
like that.
True,
that is
true,
like
exactly.
That's how you get your way. I mean, look at Talia, like Mariela del Barrio. I can't go to Vegas. This family is trying to take me to a vacation. And you think, okay, wish that happened to me.
I can't have this car. It doesn't have leather seats. But the thing is that it's interesting because you have one thing or the other, right? Like I think, and I would say our parents, because it's a generation of people that grew up with very lack of emotional maturity. And not to their own fault. They weren't taught that. That information wasn't around, right? And now that we have technology, I think because if some people don't want to confront their feelings, then they're just having a new addiction. So now it's not cigar, now it's not alcohol, now it's social media. It works exactly the same way, by the way, in your brain. The addiction.
I would love to hear your insight on that.
I think that we have to be. I preach awareness. Like, I'm not saying that everybody needs to go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a psychotherapist or a coach. I think everybody should have some sort of practice where they can see themselves, where they can get in touch with who they are. Some people do that by playing golf. It's fine that it's playing golf. Some people are, I love my athlete clients, but some people see those moments when they're doing CrossFit.
Oh,
like,
okay.
They just get in the zone. They get into a place. I would rather do anything else but CrossFit,
Wow. Yeah.
But some people do it through exercise. Some people do it through kneading. Like they're like tejiendo, you know what I mean? Like some people do it by,
So
doing poetry.
You relax the
body,
the brain part that is making you get busy, and then you're able to, can we say, like cross brain barrier,
Yeah.
sort of,
Yeah.
and get in touch with that feeling.
Of course.
And let the ideas flow.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
What happens if you are constantly looking at your phone or constantly like receiving a message and worried about answering and with a calendar, and you don't put your phone down for a year?
If you think about it, the conversation that you and I are having right now, right? Like instead of being here, we're like connecting, right? Our phones are away, they're on silent. Oh, somebody else has them.
Yeah.
But it takes us to connect, right? And there's no way that somebody listens to this conversation with curiosity that doesn't take something away to ask themselves, where am I not connecting? You know, where am I letting this or numbing myself? Or I think a deeper question could be, why am I numbing myself instead of living? You know, because sometimes the answer can be really harsh, and that's okay. Because sometimes the answer is, it hurts and I don't want to hurt.
Yes.
Right? And I think that's where there's a lot of really beautiful, qualified people where you can really walk beside people with kindness, with love, with connection, like we're doing in this podcast, that can bring along just like a bunch of really beautiful things. So the journey is just, is something spectacular.
Do you think it takes a collective effort to bring about this level of awareness and satisfaction?
I think it's funny enough, some of the artwork that's in this studio, it belongs to an artist named Gonzalo, who he literally just said hi for a second.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's beautiful because it's a conversation that I was having with him.
Okay.
I think the collective, it's kind of always going. It's always there.
Okay.
We tend to connect to it through very small magical moments, right?
Magical. I love that word.
I love that word. I love that word because it's not logical.
Yeah.
You know, it's a word that is just like, I can't define it, but this was magic. Just think about that for a second, right? First podcast episode. Like we
I've been called crazy, or that I live in another world, for saying that I believe in magic and I believe in the power of dreams, and I believe that if I dream it and then I can achieve it, and in a
I believe you
sort of logical way, the drive, I think, to find that satisfaction, has to resonate with a desire deep in you.
Yeah. And that's what we're here.
The podcast.
Exactly.
It's painful. It hurts, but hey, I could spend hours doing this. I'm not dreading it. I'm enjoying it, and I look forward to meeting the next person. One. Yes. And when you come to realize the level that the level of people that we've been relating to, we learn from both. Obviously, the magical moments and the people who really also cause us pain.
Yeah.
And in how we approach it, and it takes a muscle to decide for yourself. So,
and I think that's the hard part. The hard part is again because now I can say that I surround myself intentionally with people who challenge me, let's say. You know, they write about these things, they have podcasts about these things, they have businesses about this, they lead their families like this, you know, like they challenge me in different ways, right? Like Natalia and Manuel, they don't just have podcasts and Power Up Studio, they have a philosophy of life that leads them to this. So I was talking to a friend today, and he's a writer, very talented writer. His name is Sean Hotchkiss. He just wrote a book. And the book's title is kind of harsh. It's called Hating Women. And it's a tale of recovery, rage and recovery.
Wow.
Because it's his own journey about when he realized that's what was happening inside of him, and what led to using, women, but also what led to actually having deep, meaningful relationships with them, right? Mm-hmm. And he wrote today in his newsletter something about, okay, I did the work. Now what? Now what? I did the mushrooms. I did the therapy. I did the tarot. I did the manifesting of the dreams. I did all that. Now what? And I think that's the hardest part, because the hardest part is now what you were saying, the practice, the habit.
The work begins.
The work.
The muscle. You start to build the muscle
that you didn't know you had. So now is, just like when we start working out, you do Pilates, right?
I did today. I'm in pain. That's what back here.
I know.
It's the first time in a couple months.
But usually when we start working out, is that, right? Like you start using them, you're like, I didn't know I had that muscle. So you end up doing Pilates over and over again. You start realizing that you start course correcting your right leg versus your left leg, right? Like your hips to be more and more aligned. But that takes practice and practice and practice. Now that we went through the Artemis 3, going on the moon farthest that we've gone before.
That's correct. I love that.
The original landing on the moon, they said the reason why they did it is because they course corrected 1 degree at a time to actually get there.
Wow.
So literally 1 degree can be the difference between landing on the moon or not. So a lot of people, I think, need to give themselves grace on that, practicing that muscle. Just the way that you exhale right now is like, fuck, I need to be kinder to myself.
And funny enough, I always, well, not always, maybe I should say it more to my kids, but when I talk to my kids about, the grade, about training, I have the little one, Tomas, who's in the studio. He does basketball. He's amazing.
Nice.
I know.
I work with athletes, so we can talk.
I bug him so much. Like when he's shooting the free throws, I'm like, oh, I was like, oh my God, that's my mom again, right? But
it's a muscle.
We enjoy their not necessarily the win, but just to see them overcoming this difficulty, that fear, that thought, that anxiety, that little bit that we work with them, and one of the things that as women have that is in our nature is to nurture and to say, I'm here for you no matter what. You can fall, but I'll be here to pick you up. Doesn't mean that you have to be scared of falling. Like, fall, because after you fall, you're gonna see where you need to correct your
to stand up again.
Your free throw, your shot, your balance, or the alignment, like what you said, the course correction.
And I have to say, for me personally, and I say this proudly, there might be a lot of things that I don't do right in my life, but God, am I a good friend? Like, and I don't say it because I'm a good friend. I say it because of my friends are spectacular people that inspire me, that question, that I think the most important ones has been that love me so much that even though I'm in the middle of they're like, they don't ask anything of me. They're like, hey, we know that you're in we're not going to do anything because you're the only one that can get you out of there. But we're here whenever you're ready. We're here. We know this and this and this, depending obviously on the depth of the relationship you might have with people. But I wholeheartedly believe my friends have repaired my soul. My friends have taught me the most amazing things about loyalty, about being there, about love. I remember having the deepest realization in my life, which was, why am I allowing myself to date men that will never be my friends?
Oh my goodness.
Right? Yes. It's like, why did I allow that person in my life? They would never pass the test as my friend. But I think those are questions that make you fall and question yourself differently, ask yourself different questions to stand up again. And I think the hardest one, that I don't have kids, but I am guessing that when you see your friend hitting themselves with the same freaking wall over and over again, and you're like, dude, seriously, again, I'm guessing that has to be how you feel as a parent sometimes, because you need to let them do their own mistakes.
That's the hardest part, to
Right.
try and lead someone, you know, from a place of light and love, and not out of your own fears.
Yeah.
You said something a little bit earlier. That, why am I allowing myself to do? Dude, I mean, to this day, I wouldn't talk to a friend like that. Why you talk to yourself like that?
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, 100%.
And it's such a cliche to be, oh, you're your toughest critic. I am my toughest critic. Well, what did you get out of that? Did you win a medal, or are you gonna get an award? Are you gonna get your mortgage paid at the end of the month? Heck, if someone's gonna pay my mortgage, if I say that to myself, go for it. But it's me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, how many times does the alarm now go off, and you need another 15 minutes, or you need to gather yourself, you need a minute, or the phone, you need to put your phone down for 15 minutes. Did the world end?
No. That's the thing. Nothing is urgent. And I think that's why, again, I preach, just be aware. And what do I mean by be aware is the fact that because we let ourselves go into this state of like numbness of
Panic.
of being productive,
Oh, okay.
you know? But yes, panic,
Autopilot, sort of. Like
autopilot, sort of. Exactly. You go into autopilot, but you also, you numb things, you regret things. Oh, you think that the more productive that you are, it's like, oh, that's value. And I think, I mean, I personally definitely thought that. It makes sense, right?
Or like sports. I need to train harder. I need to work more. And sometimes all you need is a break.
Because your muscles need a break.
I read that somewhere that even if what was it? Something to the effect that all the electronics, if you unplug it for a minute and you plug it back in,
they work again.
90% of the time it's gonna start again.
Yeah.
Give yourself a break.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to turn off for a minute and then power yourself back up to actually function.
Reset.
Yes.
Reset.
So rest is important.
It's so important. But the muscle, literally, in order, when you go to the gym, you do Pilates. I'm just saying that. I know that you do Pilates. I lift weights.
I have to get the Pilates people here.
But it's like, you do that. It is every single personal trainer that you would meet, including Miguel, who you just met, will tell you, if you don't have rest days, there's absolutely nothing that you can do. And I'm also a preacher of, when you do that reset, what does that reset mean to you? Because my reset might be different than yours. And I think we also judge ourselves because of that. Because it's like, here goes, and she went, and you reset it in like 5 seconds, or you reset it in like a day. And all of a sudden I'm still like, no, I need time. And I think for me, that has been one of the biggest lessons of what you were saying of like, I need to sleep on it. Back then, I didn't know that I needed the time. Nowadays, I'm like, I can't. Can I get back to you on that? Like, very respectfully. Like, it's not necessarily has to be something bad. It's just like, give me a moment. I can't. And sometimes it's harder than other moments because you never have asked for boundaries before.
I was gonna just go into that and say,
Please?
What's it to say that your moment is not worth, it's not valuable? And that's the value that you put in yourself as well. Exactly. I'm about to make a very intentional decision with my life. I'm taking a moment.
Yeah.
That's my price.
Yeah.
Right?
But the thing is that because we have very real responsibilities, right? Yeah. We have very real things going on.
In a fast-paced world, too.
In a very fast-paced world where inside of here, we're overthinkers. Most of us are overthinkers. So we have a world in here, the world that you have with your family, your friends, your work, and all this kind of stuff that we don't know how to deal with that. So I'm always, te aplaudo de pie for bringing spaces like this, because those are the moments that I personally got today out of all the day that I'm having. Is like, oh my God, it's so great to connect, right? And take a moment. And like, I asked myself right now, like, when was the last time today that you were like, and you felt your lungs filling in and out just for a second? I don't mean that you have to do a yoga retreat today and you have to go to the middle of the mountains to retreat and retreat. No, like maybe right before picking up the phone and calling that person.
Oh, wow. Yes. That's huge.
Right?
You could change your whole day.
What a huge difference it would be.
And the trickle-down effect. What you put out there and the level of stress that you're carrying. How is that going to help me have an effective communication with this person?
Yeah.
Or am I just going to jeopardize my idea and not be heard, really, because the other person is just, red flagging everywhere.
Exactly. Or maybe then just red flagging, they can't hold the space.
Oh, yeah.
No, or they're just simply like they just had a horrible day at work. They were sick for 3 days, and today is the first day that they're back at work. They're physically exhausted. They just went through they just don't have the bandwidth to hear you. So we make it about ourselves, and we're like, oh, Pati, can you believe, like, I was talking to this person and they didn't look at me? It's like, give them a chance. Yeah. You don't know. If it happens a second time, then okay, maybe we have another conversation to have. But like, you be kind. You don't know what's going on inside that person.
Total.
So it's like, okay, let's take a breath. Let's take a breath and see what that's it.
Speaking of end of the world, it's not the end of the world.
No, but it might be the end of the world.
Not the end of the world. Yeah, well, we're coming towards the end. However,
yes,
I want to ask you a very real, raw question, and you feel free to answer or not.
Of course.
What's your biggest fear?
I think my biggest fear is like not really being, I feel like I have a lot of ideas and a lot of things that I want to accomplish. And the more I do this work, the more I know that is not a circumstance, it's not the right time, it's me not being authentic and going out there and trying it out because of like, ¿y qué va a pensar esta persona? Or this kind of stuff. So for me, my biggest fear is letting that win. That is my biggest fear.
It's been exposed and
to let my I call it my limiting self.
Your dream die or dry out because of
like
sort of.
Because of like listening to that part of you that is meant to save you, it's meant to protect you. For that to be louder than yeah, sure, let's do a podcast. Am I available? Yes, I'm available. Let's do it. You know what I mean?
I love that you brought that up because sometimes it's your own inner battle.
It's insane.
We're all fighting our own battle.
Yeah.
At the time that we meet.
Yeah.
And you just never know.
Yeah.
That's why I value and respect your presence here and your input.
Oh, and thank you for inviting me.
And what's your biggest dream?
Wow.
And with that, we'll end in a positive note because I already want the other guy to win, right?
What is my biggest dream? Oh my God. I think I have always said this. I think that I live gratefully alive, that my biggest dream is just what I'm doing right now, but like times 100. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just want to be able to do this more whenever I have, the clients. I don't want one. I want more clients. I just don't want one quick trip to something. I want many trips to places. Like, I don't want a conference of only 400 people. I want a conference where there's, 4,000. Like, I feel like my dreams are just like, how can we get to more people? Quality, it's very important for me, because I think that word to word, mouth to mouth, recommendations, you were a realtor, those are the best recommendations.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's just living more authentically, I think, is my biggest dream.
Well, you're on your path, and it's admirable, very aligned.
Yes,
if I can use the word, because the podcast it really is about aligning your dream, your life, and taking action on it, which is not the easy part, because it's easy to get called by the other guy. Yeah. So
I also want to congratulate you.
We're in this CrossFit together. We're building that muscle.
I know.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I congratulate you, because it was great. It was great connecting. It was a wonderful moment, and I know that you were nervous behind the scenes, but I think that this is just the beginning of something amazing.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Thank you.
So many more. Thank you.